I'm Don Samulack, President U.S. Operations of Editage, Cactus Communications, and I'm here in London in the UK at the digital science offices within the Macmillan Building of Science and Education, and talking with Euan, Adie, the founder and CEO of Altmetric. And so this is another of the vignettes of the series under the digital science umbrella, and with Euan of Altmetric. And so again, welcome. I know from the American perspective there is huge changes at NIH as to how they look at data and impact of papers, and I'm not sure, honestly, whether Altmetric is something that they closely pay attention to, but I know certainly at the university level there's an uptake and a different way of thinking of alternative metrics, not necessarily just Altmetric, but alternative metrics in general. And maybe we can just take a second, since we hadn't touched on it, what the clarification is between alternative metrics and Altmetric as a company.
So alternative metrics is the name of quite a broad field. To be completely honest, it's not the best possible name because, first of all,
typically it was alternative to impact factor. It was anything but impact factor is sort of how alternative metrics was adopted in the early days.
That's right. So we define it now as Altmetrics is alternative to only using the impact factor and the citation counts. Mm-hmm. So it's just about bringing in other things. And really, the simplest definition of alternative metrics is in assessment, when you're looking at a piece of work, look at more than just papers, so look at data sets and software as well, and then look at more than just citations, look at social impact, policy impact, cultural, economic impact, this kind of thing. And people have been doing alternative metrics for a long time. It's reached the point nowadays where the kind of tools and the data available make it much more efficient, make it easier for authors to collect it for themselves.
Mm-hmm. So many people who will be listening to this video may be from Asia, and Asian authors tend to think of impact factor as the end-all of aspiration for publication in their career. From an altmetric and an alternative metrics point of view, what types of views do you have?
I think, well, first of all, I think that it can change pretty rapidly. So certainly here in the UK, so from the time that I was in the lab where it was all about impact factors, and that's what the government funding bodies were looking, the block funding was looking for, to 10 years later where actually it's much more measured, and impact factors you're not allowed to use at all. And there's more of a mix now between kind of wider impact, so has your work had an impact economically or socially or culturally, as well as, has it been taken by other scholars and used as a base to do other things with. So the first thing I'd acknowledge is, the situation as it is now is not necessarily the situation that's what it's going to look like in 5 years. So especially if you're at the beginning of your career, then it's good to look ahead a bit.